Why Asian men should get 3 lays from day game before Tinder or night game. The reason Asian men are stuck with women is because they are starting with Tinder and night game. I have 692 laid in testimonials for day game. And if that taught me anything, if you can get Asian men laid 3 times and you're like, well, why 3 times, John? Is that like a magic number or something? No. 3 times is a pattern. 1 time is just chance. It means luck. An unteachable case can still get 1 lay or 1 girlfriend that's ugly a few years ago. 2 times, it's a coincidence. 3 times is not luck. 3 times is a pattern. And I'm just saying minimum of 3. I'm not saying, oh, just get 3 and that's it. So if you can get laid 3 times from day game, you can probably procreate. Like, what do you mean? That you can probably repeat the pattern again and again. That means you can probably get another lay. Don't mind the hair. It's really last minute. So it's not about me. It's about the Asians. That's the most important thing to me right now. Is that if you can get 3 lays, it's not luck. It's a repeatable skill that can eventually lead to a girlfriend, a marriage, and a family. That's right. So if you're an Asian and you're a man starting with day game, it actually might be the best strategy compared to everything else. All the other strategies are a waste of time. So let me explain. So, I mean, if you can get laid 3 times though for day game, it's not luck, it's a pattern. And who knows, you could end up finding a girlfriend or even getting married down the line, right? Plus, you can help with the birth rates because Asian men are facing a lot of like issues with the birth rate, especially in China. But I can't get through people in China because Jan lifestyle has brainwashed them all with their RSD shit. So it's game over for them. It's game over for them. But let's see here. Let me change the title. Hopefully something that might click better with people. All right. So we'll try the second title. Let's see if it gets people to join. So you want to have more options by starting with day game. If you rely on expensive night game tactics, for example, nightclubs are very expensive. It costs money for covers. It costs money to drive there. It costs gas money. It costs money for drinks, and you'll be spending close to over $1,000. I mean, it's around like $7,000 a year. I calculated for night game. It's not cheap. And for Tinder dates, if you can get dates as an Asian and ABCs of attraction, I saw one of their crappy YouTube shorts that are brainwashing people. And they say that Asians cannot even get laid from Tinder in the United States. They get no matches. I was like, shit, I don't teach Tinder, so I don't really know. My students only do day game. They don't use night game. They don't use Tinder. But the strategy for Asian men is that they definitely 100% should focus all in on day game first. When they can get those 3 lays, first of all, then they can switch over to Tinder and night game. But if you do it before then, it means those are your only options. You will not do day game. The mathematics does not make sense because the birth rate is not only lower in Asia, we have talked about this on YouTube Live, but on top of everything, on top of the lower birth rate, it's also spilling over in the United States. And even Canadians, a lot of them has given up. In Vancouver, only 10% of people are in a relationship because it's too expensive to go on a date. That's not good. Because if it's hard for the white people, it's going to be way harder for the Asians with less SMV. Don't you understand? So you cannot rely on expensive night game tactics or going to ABCs of attraction. You take that entire $7,000 you would have spent in a year, but you go to Latin America, you go to Brazil, you go to Peru, you go to Mexico, you go to wherever. You go to a third world country, and then just to swipe on Tinder, they just make you dress a little bit better for your Instagram, and then they just collect 7,000 from you. But you're spending $10,000 because you got to pay for the Airbnb, you got to pay for the food, you got to pay for the everything just to stay there. The plane tickets it's gonna be like around $10,000. But for they had like 13 students that paid for this, and you know how expensive that is. They made what is like that's already $7,000, right? If we do the mathematics, that's crazy because that ABCs of attraction, fooling the Asians are making a killing, but they're metaphorically killing all the other Asians because they're not getting them laid a lot. Night game, they don't get them laid; they just have them polling like a dry poll. Can you do the math for me, ChatGPT? What is $7,000 times 13? How much like $7,000 and 13 students, right? This ABCs of Attraction Latin World Tour. How much money did they make from that one world tour? They're probably gonna have more than one. They're making so much money of the Asians, but the Asians are not getting laid generally. They need to switch out of going to Latin America and night game because they don't believe they can do it for day game. That's $91,000 already. That's nearly $100,000. But if they live in California, they're heavily taxed. So they have to make double that, which they did. They went to Toronto. They fooled the Asians to go to night game. There's no day game component for ABCs. The reason why you're stuck, the real reason is because when I was not around for 7 months on YouTube Live, and you guys just heard nothing but Game Global brainwashing, and I wasn't there for a long time, and now I have so much to say. Then you got brainwashed that night game is the way to go, and also going to a third world country. They made $91,000. If they have 2 world tours, they make 200,000. They're probably making $250,000 this year, because when you listen to ABCs of Attraction, which is poison, then you got Asian Lee, who used to teach day game, this Asian guy, and then now he's like all night game all Tinder testimonials. He quit day game. He transitioned out of day game into Tinder because he cannot make any money teaching day game because he can't get anyone laid with his rectangular head that is better looking than me and taller than me. And then you look at other Asian dating coaches, they all quit to night game or third world countries. They're all passport bros. So Asians, you need to do the opposite, right? Blame ABCs of Attraction, first of all, because once you listen to their poison of Game Global, it's the same thing with Indian dating, like Indian dating coaches telling you that, Indian hate, you're not enough. You got to have Indian supremacy. You got to fight back. Whenever you hear these things, it really affects your state of mind. It makes you feel bad about yourself. Game Global is a network that uses the marketing techniques called problem, agitate, solve. And you're like, what do you mean? They'll tell you what the problem is, that you're being Indian is not enough. You being Asian is not enough. And then they'll twist the knife and make you feel bad about yourself. They will fucking twist the fucking knife and just twist, 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 twist. Then you feel bad about yourself. That makes sense? When you feel really bad about yourself, right? And then when they do that, metaphorically speaking, okay, enough of that. It's pretty dangerous. You know how sharp this fucking thing is? It's like, why are you swinging this shit around, John? It's really that sharp. All right. But problem, agitate, solve. I want to teach you guys a marketing formula that I don't use. Have you seen me try and twist the knife and create massive pain? No. I just tell you logically. I know that is the least effective way, but this is how I'm brainwashing you by calmly explaining to you why, and your subconscious brain understands what I'm saying. So I'm teaching you how ABCs of Attraction does it. So problem, agitate, solve. This is the reason why Asians quit day game. They know all your pain points because they go to Reddit. They go to the Asian masculinity forum for ABCs, and they'll study you like a guinea pig. So problem, right? Problem, right here. Hopefully you can see it. Problem, agitate, Maybe I should start using this formula. Agitate and then solve. So what does this mean? Problem, agitate, solve. What does that mean? Problem, agitate, solve. Because when they point out the problem, which is not even the real problem. The real problem is that the Asians are going to Tinder and night game, but they make it seem like that is the solution, right? So they agitate that you are not enough in North America, and then you have to go to night game as an Asian because day game is too hard. They treat day game like an afterthought because it requires too much social skills. The Asians automatically assume because they're Asian, their social skills are not as strong because they have tiger parents. And then what happens is that ABC's defines a brand new problem, and then they agitate the hell out of you because they go over to Reddit, they write down every single pain point, they copy and paste it onto a big document, and they read the words directly out to you, and they twist the fucking knife as hard as they can. And then you start to feel like, yeah, maybe because I'm Asian, I should go to ABCs. I know most of you don't even believe in ABCs of attraction. And some of you actually were ABCs of attraction students that are watching me that are Asian right now, that did not get laid at all. And they're coming to me for training. And they get like one guy, he came back to me for training this year, ABC's attraction victim, the guy in the testimonial. He has 2 lays with 2 white girls, and he also got 10 extra lays for night game. He never got laid for night game from ABCs. He never got laid. He actually like 0 results until he took Elite 30, and then he was able to get laid for night game. So what are they teaching people? That means only a small percentage of people are getting success. When I get accused of saying like, oh, John, only a small percentage of students get laid or what? No, it's not true. Most of my students this year got laid. The new ones that are joining, they're not even here for a month yet. But the ones who gotten laid already this year, Asian guy, 2 lays, Indian guy, 5 lays, another Indian guy, 3 lays. Then we have another Chinese student. I mean, not Chinese, but he's like mixed, who joined from ABCs. But problem, agitate, solve is the reason why they got you. It is such a good formula. This is sometimes when you run ads, right? If you can make the person feel bad, then they're going to say, well, if this is what makes me feel bad, then what is the solution? I'm not going to use problem, agitate, solve, but I want you guys to know about the marketing techniques. So in case you ever see me use it on you, you can call me out saying, John, you're using problem, agitate, solve. I don't use any marketing techniques. I just tell you guys the truth. This is Daygame Moses, and this is my gospel of Daygame. I'm just telling you guys the truth. Like the whole fucking truth. I put like a raw meat in on here, and it's really uncomfortable. And people have to face themselves in the mirror. That's why they like it. Because Johnny Lee, I'm willing to lose money to tell you guys the truth because I think I can wake you guys up. When you guys wake up and you're enlightened and you're not brainwashed, and you get unbrainwashed, then I get more students laid because the students, even though I only have 1,400 subscribers, it's not a lot of subscribers, right? It's not a lot, but these are the enlightened people. All of them, something in their brain says John makes sense. But when you look at Coach Kyle or white dating coaches with hundreds of thousands of subscribers because they're good looking, they look white, even though he sucks, he has 3 late testimonials. Bradicus only has 1. And then like Coach Kyle has 3, Charisma King has 0. The thing is that these are scammers. UMP no longer gets people laid. UMP now has transitioned to a night game company. But as I was trying to say is that you can get easily manipulated by pain points. I know this may sound a bit out there, right? Because we heard all the naysayers. Why bother with social skills, right? The Asians are like, John, we don't want to learn your fucking social skills flow drill. It's too much work, John. We don't have 30 days to learn it. We need something fast. I get it. I totally get it. You're like, it takes forever to master, right? Just hit the gym, right? Start dirty bulking, right? Just like my Toonie Tuesday today, right? Just start eating a lot of food, a lot of donuts, like Squat and Casanova says, and then start getting bulky, as they tell you. Do compound lifts, look like a bulky Ninja Turtle, and you're like, well, why would you look like that? Look stupid. My students have a V-shaped body, and then they're like lean, but they have a V-shaped body, and it looks good inside a blazer. But then you fall for that stuff, and they're like, bulk up, get bigger, look dirty bulk, get a little bit fat, look like Shrek, have like big deltoids, 0 definition for your arms, big fat body, and your waist is like your waist and your whatever is almost the same size as your lats. You look like one of those old strongman, and it looks gross. But the reason they're doing that It's because they're either hopping on the plane to third world Latin countries, or else for night game, if you stand there in a black shirt, right, as an Asian, and then everybody goes home. At the end of the night, everyone goes home. And then this Asian woman who was like looking for a guy to go home with, she's a little bit sad. She starts looking around, right? And they're like, huh? And then she sees an Asian guy with a black shirt, right? No muscle definition, but bulky. And then those guys, especially in Toronto, they always wear this black shirt. They once told one of my students who got five, I think he got like 6 lays or something, one in Toronto and 5 in Mexico. He was always crying. He said, John, because my wingman always tells me that I need to build muscles, right? That's the only thing that's working in Toronto right now. Muscles. I was like, why does that matter? Because he says, like, well, if I cannot bulk up, then I was like, dude, you gotta be whitewashed first of all, right? And when I made him whitewash, he couldn't understand why. He was skinny and tall. So he was around like 5'10" and a half. He wasn't short. He was half Vietnamese and half Chinese. But that guy, he got a fucking white girl sucking his dick in 2 weeks. I have the picture. I try to censor as best as I can. It's still on my website. He took the Kaizen program, the one I got smear campaign for. It's not Elite Bundle Resurrection or Elite 30, but Kaizen's a tough program. This guy didn't like crying like Sebastian. You know, that guy's a bitch. This guy just took everything and just like, fuck yeah. And he got laid and then he got 5 more lays. That's what got Sebastian, the smear campaigner, to join because he did it in Mexico where Sebastian was always living. So that Asian guy got all these lays without actually doing like night game, without using Tinder when he's in a Latin country. And also he did it in Toronto. And that's a crazy thing because he was told that he needed to bulk up. Well, why did everyone disappear? He was told that he needed to bulk up. If he doesn't bulk up, then women will not like him. But I told him that's not true. You got to be whitewashed. You got to be husband material. It's like, I don't understand. Just do what I say. Yes, sir. Then he got laid 2 weeks. So, and you're thinking like, if you dirty bulking just to get that Asian woman, that's not really attractive because what that's your only option. What if you cannot dirty bulk? What if you're ectomorph like that guy? What if you have no muscle mass? You see what I'm saying? Then what do? You cannot bulk up. It will have no effect. Then you're stuck as an Asian man. Okay. Hold on a second. Let me send this to So this is less people here for some reason. I think I offended them because I talked about Sebastian and they get turned off. That guy's gonna get sued. It's gonna cost $120,000 Canadian or 100,000 USD just to run a lawsuit. That's why I found out from my lawyers. 2 lawyers to sue Sebastian. All that for $1,600. I'll deal with him because I could have more students this year. But whatever students I do have, I've gotten like almost all of them late. The new ones that just started less than a month, we'll see how the progress goes. But if I get him laid too, then we got everyone laid. And anyone that's an unteachable case, we kick them out. Please join me if you can, if you're seeing this, or give it a thumbs up if you cannot. Thank you. I'm going to send this to a few people. All right. Just bear with me here. Send it to Marco. All right. Let's continue. As I was saying, that thinking that you magically get 900 matches, right? On Tinder, which you will on a Latin country, and 12 dates in the 1 week. All that for $7,000. You get 1 lay. But that is a ripoff because my Chinese student with 15 lays, 5 models, 5 white girls, 2 actresses, he married one. He has 75 lays when I first met him on Latin countries. So that kind of debunks the idea that you should spend $7,000 to get 1 lay in Latin America. He got 75 lays. He got 25 more from Tinder by changing his algorithms for Instagram, but I don't count those as lays. That's a body count. That's not a lay count. You're just displaying meat on the Tinder. You're like, here's 5 pictures, 10 pictures. You're just putting value there, meat and value. And then they get to swipe. Imagine that you have AI pictures and then you're swiping and then she matches with the AI pictures. Then what is the use of does Tinder even count as lays? No, but oh, we got lay from it's a body count. It's not a lay count. It's a body count. What the fuck? That's stupid. It's just more ABCs of attraction mental bullshit. Like tall self-proclaimed high lay count coaches bullshit. Because they can't get students laid for pickup anymore, they're distracting you with Tinder because that's the only thing they can do. And then you become stuck. You become a passport bro. It's like your only option. You have no other choice. So yeah. And don't even get me started on I mean, you may think it sounds appealing, right? But I've got 3 insights for you that completely changes how Asian men should approach this. Okay? I got 3 insights. Because I'm telling you, it's a losing strategy. You can't win with just Tinder and night game because you don't have enough matches. There's not enough leads. You need to open up your lead flow. Asian men don't have enough leads when it comes to all this stuff. So if Asian men nail down their day game skills first and they get those 3 lays, you're like, well, why 3 lays, right? 3 lays. You just have to get 3. If you magically can get 3 lays, you will probably procreate. And you're like, well, what do you mean by 3 lays, right? Why is 3 such a magic number? I'll explain to you. Okay? I'll explain to you. 3 is a magic number because not all my Asian students gotten 3 lays. Some of them may just got 2. Some of them may just gotten 1. But 3 is a pattern. That's right. 3 is a pattern. Everything else becomes easier. Night game becomes easier when you can do day game. Tinder becomes easier because you can do the dating a lot better. It's almost like learning social skills just to make day game better. It's not the thing. It's the thing that sells the thing. That's what I learned before. It's not the thing, which is night game or Tinder. It's the thing that sells the thing. It is day game that makes Tinder and night game work better. Does that make sense? It's not the thing. It's the thing that sells the thing. So seriously, without a solid foundation in day game, you're like Asians are averted, like they have a version of day game. It's like here's the sunlight, right? And then that's day game, right? And the Asians are like, oh no, fucking day game. Ah, sunlight. Oh shit, not day game. No, I'm melting. That's how Asians are like. They're like, what the fuck? They literally are allergic and they're afraid of day game. Like they have no choice but to be afraid. Because for Asians, they don't like to learn anything that requires stretching. So, right. Only one person is watching. So, anyways, I'm gonna keep talking because I have to preach this. It's very important to get this message out there as efficiently as possible. So, you feel more confident when day game. You have better social skills. Social skills is the most important thing. Social skills is better emotional control too. Asians do not have a strong emotional control for my students or strong social skills. You know that? They don't have a very strong, hey, what's up? Why 3, not 4 or 5? No, no, no. I'm just saying a minimum of 3. How's that? Maybe I should say 3 lays first, minimum of 3 lays. Right? 3 is the minimum cutoff point before you start Tinder and night game. Okay? But please ask me as many questions as possible. I need as many questions as you can possibly ask. Okay? Anything that's unclear, I will answer it to my fullest. You can even ask me questions relating to day game in general to help yourself. For being here, I'll give you the best answers. And it's cool, right? You see the other Toronto guy, right? The Indian guy getting a second lay, right? You're Indian, right? Mr. Kim Jong-un, right? Even though that's a Korean, North Korean name. But you have better emotional control, better social skills, and you'll be able to close faster. No more crutches. I know for Asian men, right? They always want, like, it's hard for social skills. I'll be honest with you. When I'm teaching Asian day gamers, they don't actually believe in social skills. They believe in verbals. And whenever they have to learn something new, they're like, oh, fuck it. Why can't we just wear a black T-shirt and go out there in dirty bulk at night game? Or why can't we just fly to Latin America? But ABCs of attraction, although they got 13 students to spend $7,000 and getting close to like $93,000 or something just to go to Latin America. Don't worry, I'll read that. And then it's like, well, that's a lot of money. Why are you wasting that much money to go Latin America? I don't get it. But this is a small amount of Asians. When you look at all the Asians, right, in North America, 13 of them, and this is the only solution for 13 people for this golden ticket. Not everyone can afford to even fly to a third world Latin American country. Does that make sense? You're leaving behind a lot of Asians. Not everyone can afford night game and alcohol and spending so much on covers. They can't afford that. But they can afford day game. My day game course, very inexpensive compared to their boot camps. It's not $7,000. It's like less than 1,000. And the reason why is because I want to help my Asian men. I should have charged more. So people are finding it very like, okay, somebody liked it. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. You see that? Another Indian person liked my, even though he's not watching it, he liked it. Let me look at question. Yeah, this even just approaching makes my mood better, and I think makes my cortisol drop. It's so easy. The more you do with Elite 30, yeah, because let me tell you a secret about Elite 30. For the Asian men, I joined Elite, the world's best day game coach, and like other people can call themselves the world's best day game coach. You got white coaches that claim they're the best, like Aaron Alexander from Evolution Daily. Before I saw him on Facebook calling himself the best. He only has like 3 students laid after a couple of years. That's why he's not making as much money. And then you got other white dating coaches. They think they're so great. They keep telling the same story for 5 years for their student, which is probably like related to them. They probably have an Asian family. It's like, how can you call yourself the best? I have like way more students laid than you guys. I am really the best day game coach in the world. I am so good that everyone, the more late testimonials you see, the more they ignore me. I'm that good. Nobody can beat me game global like against everybody. Is like, but I want more Asian students so I can dominate them. It's not enough to beat game global year after year. You have to piss on their foreheads. But the Asians need to learn this skill. I know the Asians, you feel like if you got 1 out of 10 perceived natural status or 0, if you're too Asian washed, then you're going up against white people that are declining in terms of day game. How are you supposed to compete? Well, my other Asian student, he's Vietnamese in the United States. He got 2 lays with women that are like, you know, one's like 23, the other one's I think 23, but one's 8 out of 10, one's 10 out of 10 to him. That's from Elite 30. Asians, before, I'll tell you the truth. When I was teaching day game in 2012, I was stealing another Asian dating coach's students and teaching them. I went to Jan Lifestyle, his meetups, and I stole all the students after getting their phone numbers and teaching them. They're like, what the fuck? I did not get a single Asian laid. They're like, what do you mean by that? I did not get a single Asian man laid until 2018. You're like, well, what do you mean? Asians really do not have a lot of SMV. I'm telling you. I wish I was joking. But Asian men have such low SMV, right? That other dating coaches cannot get Asian men laid. They can only get 1 or 2 or 1 token Asian long ago, before the tariff era, before the inflation era, maybe during a pandemic or before. But they always have 1 token Asian. Getting Asians laid is nearly impossible, but I will keep posting like nonstop unreleased Asian laid testimonials. The next one's going to be a guy who got a 21-year-old stripper. Chinese guy. That's the next unreleased late testimonial I'm going to post. But for Asian men, it really is that hard. So keep asking those questions, right? Once I have enough views or something, then yeah. Okay. Let's see. Asian men, why get laid day game before Tinder? in night game. All right, I just want to find a title that gets more people to view it, right? But please ask those questions. But when I create Elite 30 from hard case to hero, right? It was a social skills and social calibrations course. I had an Asperger syndrome chart. I create a 30-day challenge from it. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot to mention that. Then Asian men got laid like crazy. I was getting hundreds of late testimonials flooding in because of Elite 30 from hard case to hero. And even a Vietnamese guy in 2026, he got laid this month and last month. He got Elite 30 for 2 months. He's going through the 30-day challenge. And I told him go back to day 1. He got laid on day 17th for the second time. If that's the case, and Elite 30 works, then it's timeless. Like, it doesn't expire. Does that make sense? It does not expire ever. That is the solution for Asian men. After 2018, I got the most Asians laid of all day game coaches out there in the world. Other people are Asian dating coaches already quitting day game. They're just teaching Tinder now. So I'm Johnny Lee. I have the most Asians laid in the world for day game, more than every day game coach in the world combined. This is a fact. If you really think you can beat me, you guys pull up all your day game late testimonials. We'll compare my Asians versus all of the Asian dating coaches. I will beat you guys like a Cherokee drum over and over again. So, okay, that title is not working. Let's try the next one. All right, I'll try another title. So I have 692 laid in poll testimonials for day game. I'm getting close to 700. I mean, ABCs can't even get anyone laid for day game, maybe like 2 years ago. Not the tariff era, but a student in a Latin country. One student who got laid twice in 2 different Latin countries, but they can't do it in the United States. So but most people before then, Indian dating coaches, whatever, they always have one token Asian laid. A token Asian means that, oh, look, we have one Asian laid, therefore game works. The token Asian is that one Asian that's example or counterexample to everything else. But other than that, I can get Asians laid. I'm not just talking shit. If you want to see Asian laid testimonials that are unreleased, we should maybe make the next 2 of them Asian laid testimonials nobody's ever seen before. We've been posting too many Indians. Unless the Indian student gets laid again, I'll post another one. People are getting fatigued by them, which is ridiculous. Because you can see Indians have more SMV than Asians. There's 2 Indians who've gotten laid this year and 1 Asian. But I need more students. Statistically speaking, whoever joins me this year, most of you have gotten laid before. So your odds are very good for success as long as you're not an unteachable case. So honestly, I have way more than what you find in those so-called Game Global Asian dating coaches for day game, who's just out there to scam you. So why should Asian men focus on day game and get those 3 lays first? Because if you can dive into night game first, right, or Tinder first, or you'll find yourself boxed in. Even if you try to juggle all 3, you'll end up being the jack of all trades and the master of none. You're like, what do you mean? The jack of all trades and master of none. So imagine it's like this, okay? How about this? We'll just, maybe I like using this thing as I could bring a whiteboard next time, right? But it's hard to draw from this angle. But imagine this is like a stick over here. I'll draw it like this, okay? There's a big stick from here. We'll call this 3 different sticks. This will make more sense. This is called a day game stick. We just call it D, right? It's not dick, it's just day game stick. You see that? There's gonna be 3 sticks here. Day game. This is gonna be N, right? For night game. D, N, and then Tinder. DNT. Okay? So if you try to start juggling, like over here, I'll just draw some plates on top, right? Spinning up here. Okay, imagine there's 3 plates over here on top. You see that? This UFO thing? Imagine this is spinning in a circle. So when you start on Tinder, right? You start spinning that plate. You start making You start doing a lot of work. You start swiping in America, right? Or North America. And then what happens is now you're going to say, well, I'm Asian, so ABC says to go to night game. So now you spin 2 plates. You can barely get one. This one keeps falling off, right? The plate will fall down, right? Over and over again for this one, for the Tinder plate. And then you try to get back up here. Now you focus on Tinder. It's like, fuck, on the weekends, I'll go night game. But you barely even go. And then this falls off again. Nothing's happening. All the women are turning their back against you. Only Asian women, if you're a bulky Ninja Turtle with compound lifts, you can go home with them, but not white girls, not like any other race, just Asians. And then you go back to Tinder, and then that falls off. And then fuck, I'll stick with night game. You get it? You spin this plate, and then this one already fell off. And then you're like, okay, I'm not gonna go with day game. I'm just gonna cut day game out entirely, then go Tinder. Okay, Tinder's not working. The ABC says we need to go to a third world country, Latin America. Then you pay $7,000. You spin this plate. You got one lay, and then the one's only 13 people. The rest of the Asians did not spin that plate. They've given up on Tinder. Now they put all their money in night game. They keep spinning that, and then eventually it keeps falling. And then you're like, well, fuck. After all that, you've given up, and you're like, fuck, this turned mental. Fuck that. Dating, dating's too hard. If it's not working for white people, then why even bother as Asians? You know? But instead, you should focus on day game. You only focus on one plate. You put up here, only one plate. You don't work on the other plates, right? Then you get one lay, right? And then it's great. You did Elite 30, right? Like Asians. That's the course that got Asians laid. Elite 30, something's not understood. So how do you turn you into a natural? Social skill, social power. You keep spinning the plate, spinning it. See, you're not moving around here. You're not moving around. You spin this one plate just for day game. Then you got your second lay right here, right? 1, 2, and 3, right? You get your second lay up here. It's great, but I want to go Tinder. I want to go night. No, don't do it yet. Don't do it yet, Asians, because one is a coincidence. I mean, one is a chance. 2 is a coincidence. You don't want to give up on a coincidence because it could be just luck. But if you keep doing Elite 30, you go back to day 1. Then after your third one, the plate now is spinning very fast. Does that make sense? It's spinning and spinning and spinning. Then you're getting a bunch of spinners. But white girls. But then after that, then you can go on a night game in Tinder because now you can spin your second plate night game because night game is way easier when you could do day game 3 times in a row, 3 times and up. We should not just say 3 times the minimum. The minimum. You can get laid 3 times from day game, then you can put on the second plate. And then if you really want to, then you can eventually add the third. But sometimes when you're doing the second plate, you got to juggle these 2 plates. It's very hard. Night game may fall off, but you might get your 4th lay from day game. And then you might not go back to night game. You see that? You wouldn't have this option of those 4 lays without the day game spinning this plate. And however, a lot of students that are Asians do get married from day game. Oh, ABC's got people late from night game. Sure. Cool, right? Their stuff works for night game. In the United States, maybe not right now, but in the past, yes. But if you focus on day game, right, you got 3. Who is to say you cannot get 6 in the future if you scale it up? Because you can get 3, you know what to do because you have Elite 30, you have Elite Tonality Mastery. You just have to scale it up. But you have to get those 3 to make this thing spin. And then you might not go night game or Tinder. Does that make sense? So that's a better problem to have because this has a lot more leads. It does not cost money for a cover fee. Does that make sense? Night game is dying. Night game is dying because Gen Z is not drinking. You're like, what do you mean? Gen Z does not go to bars. Gen Z does not go to nightclubs. They don't actually believe in nightclubs. So all the younger people, right? They're closed down like so many nightclubs these days. So many bars have closed down. It's like more than 45,000 bars has closed down here in Canada because Gen Z doesn't drink. They don't like alcohol. This is like a millennial and boomer thing for them. They don't understand it. So night game, on top of the fees and also the dating and stuff, and getting Airbnb in case you pull a woman home, and getting like a extra what's it called? Uber, yeah. Getting Uber or something like that, it costs money. People cannot afford to do night game because you have to spend money on Uber, on drinks for the women, and you have to spend money on a pole location if you're not bringing her back home. And then you can't drive there if you're drunk without a designated driver. So it makes it harder. Every weekend, you can only practice like once per weekend. You only get 4 times. So if you got 12 times 4, 12, 24, 36, 48, you only got 48 times an entire year to do night game. The math is not mathing. This is why they go to Latin countries. And this is why ABCs come to Toronto, charge you a lot less money, 1,500. It's like a good deal. But if you're not getting laid, then you're getting scammed. Oh, but one guy pulled 3 women home. He pulled them home, but he did not get laid. The ABCs, we saw JT Trent pull 2 college women home, therefore his infielder. Did he get laid with them? No, he pulled them home as a dry pull. How do I know that? Because if he gotten laid, he would have told everyone he's gotten laid. Don't you see? You're being tricked by tricksters. So night game is becoming less viable. And when ABCs of attraction, I saw one of their YouTube shorts, not even worth watching, but they're saying that Asians cannot even get a match on Tinder. In the United States, you have to be somewhere else. I was like, what the fuck? So if you see that, these are dead options. You spin these plates, there's no results behind it. You spin this plate, and you get 3 lays and more, you will likely procreate one day. This is only one path right here. The D path, day game, not night game, not Tinder. So the more you spin here, it becomes an opportunity cost. The energy is taken away on these plates towards this one. Asians don't want to listen, right? Then I'll just keep posting Asian lay testimonials. Fuck, man. Seriously. I'm Daygame Moses. I'm trying to save you guys. I'm trying to bring you to the promised land. I'm Daygame Moses. Where are you guys? They're like Egypt. Let my people go. Look at Asia, for example. The birth rates are dropping. I made a YouTube live about birth rates. It is dropping except in South Korea. Everywhere else, the birth rate has dropped, has plummeted. It's unbelievable. It dropped so much, right? It dropped more than ever. I couldn't even believe it. It's like, what happened? Asians have totally given up. So, okay, so let me change the title back. There's not that many viewers. I don't think Asians even care. I don't even think Asians even care about themselves anymore. They've given up. The odds are so against Asians. Even my Indian students are crushing Asians. Well, not really, but we need more Asian students. We got one finally. And then I have to get them all laid. But you cannot just turn MGTOW in the United States and just give up. Asians. I have to save my own race. I have to save my own people. So birth rates are dropping. North America, a lot of Asian men are just throwing in the towel. They're giving up for day game. They think it's impossible. And then when they go night game and they try to spin the plates over here for night game, here's a stick, right? And here's the plates. They try to spin night game here, and it's not working. If they're just, occasionally they may pull but not get laid unless you go after Asian women. Unless you only want to procreate with the Asian women, then this is not a good funnel. And then Tinder doesn't get any matches. Not only do you not get any dates, you can't even match with a single woman, and you could be a male model, and you still get no matches or no dates. And then you start having inner game issues because you listen to ABCs and they learn from mystery method. And we talked about why mystery method is not an effective system, right? But the thing is that I think after I did that, a lot of people got turned off because it used to work before. So therefore they think I'm trolling them. But no, ABCs is powered by mystery method or misery method. Not even mystery is out there teaching anything these days because it doesn't work. And a lot of people are like, because of ABCs of attraction, they're brainwashing. I wasn't there for 7 months in a row. I wasn't there for 7 months on YouTube Live, and they got you guys really good. They completely made you feel bad because they use problem, agitate, solve. That's their formula. They tell you what the problem is, which is all made up. Just like Indian dating coaches telling you, oh, Indian hate, whatever bullshit. My students get Indian love. They'll say, oh, it's Asian hate or whatever in North America. It's like, shut up, liars. And then they'll agitate. The word agitate means to make you feel even worse, to twist the knife. And then they'll give you a solution, solve, right? Which is a $7,000 third world country ABCs of attraction boot camp. Just swipe on fucking Tinder. world tour. A $7,000 solution. And they make so much money, but they only can get 13 students. Of all the other Asians in North America, only 13 can afford it. Don't you see a problem with that? Then you get stuck. They should have been training here instead. It's cheaper. It's cheaper, but they're trying to price the people out because they try to lower the price of the boot camps. But if you're not getting laid from their boot camps and they try to make it a similar price to what I offer, then they'll probably get more of the Asians in Toronto to go over there. But it's funny because the Asians from Toronto actually gets laid over here. I can show you new testimonials that are unreleased because you lean too heavily on night game and Tinder. You're limiting yourself. I'm going to share with you how focusing on day game first can really set you up for success. It can work your way downwards. You can work your way downwards. You go from day game, you spin this plate. When you get 3 lays, then you can move it over this one, spin the second plate for night game, then you get laid. Because the other ones, they won't get laid. They'll just get Asian women. But now you can get a white girl. And then if you want to fuck around with Tinder a little bit, because you got 2 plates spinning, you got like at least 5 lays now with this one. You got like 1 lay here. And you go and fuck around with Tinder, that's fine. You don't get any lays there, right? You're Asian. You don't look like a K-pop artist. Okay, fine, whatever. Right? For me, even if I look a little bit K-pop, I get matches with the hottest women in Vancouver, but they don't come out on dates. It's like I'm attractive, but not sexy. They don't give a fuck. I tried Tinder for like a couple of months because another Asian told me to do so from Toronto. And I was like, this is stupid, right? It's like, I'll help you. It's like, fuck, it's not even worth it. I tracked this 19-year-old Ukrainian, and then she asked to see my social media. I was like, fuck. And then she sees all the dating coach stuff, and then she gets turned off. Then I say, this is fucking stupid. I'm not dealing with this shit. It's back to day game. For some people, day game is really the only option. You don't get any matches on Tinder. And also for night game, the women just turn their back to you. They don't like you. Does that make sense? And it's okay. Because I too know what it feels like to have low SMV. But I'm decent looking. But if you saw me in real life, even though I'm 5'7", I'm a lot shorter than I look. My upper body looks like a 5'11" Asian guy. My legs look like a 5'3" Asian. Like a fucking short legs of shit. Looks really fucking comically stupid. Yeah, I mean, my legs are that short in real life. So imagine that. It's like a huge upper body and really short legs. It's fucking comical. If you spin the plates and you work on this first one, day game, and you got 3 lays, 1, 2, 3, and then it spins faster. 5, 6, 7, 8. Anything else beyond that, you scale it because you already have the skills from Elite 30. I think Asians should start with Elite 30 and Elite Access and have some belief in yourself. I will keep posting Asian laid testimonials next, unless another Indian gets laid. But the next 100%, I'll post an Asian laid testimonial. For the last YouTube video testimonials for Indians, right? Do you think I got any more students from that? No. They just looked at it with a thumb up their ass, giving up, turning super megged out. That's not a good thing. So get good at day game first. And if you want to dive into night game later on, spin the plates there. Awesome. Cool. If you want to use Tinder later on, great, right? Who gives a fuck? Maybe you can approach and still swipe in between with your data plan, right? Fine with me. I don't give a shit. But start with day game first. Because day game is where you need to scale first, get those 3 lays and above minimum. And then it's easier to do night game. You get laid with white girls easier. And then if you want to fuck around with Tinder, and if you may not even need Tinder, then you focus back on day game. Don't be a jack of all trades. If you're a jack of all trades and master of none, let's say you try to do day game, night game, and also Tinder at the same time. What will happen? You fuck around a little bit of day game. You do a few approaches direct, right? Direct game doesn't work anymore. We can see Game Global. Then you try to fuck around night game on the weekends. Nothing happens. And you swipe on Tinder. I know people like that. Even if they're tall, good looking, and white. They fuck around with all 3 of them. You cannot do all 3 of them. It will not work. You need to master one of them. I suggest, even if you get laid from Tinder, you should always focus on day game and Elite 30 and just keep doing the 30-day challenge over and over. Right? You're an unteachable case. Start with Elite 30. You reach day number 30. You go back to day number 1. 30, day 1, 30. You just keep doing that until you get laid. That's your new game plan. Elite 30 from hard case to hero. But don't fuck around with 3 plates. Juggling 1 plate's hard. 2 plates. It's like running 1 business and then try and run a second business. You run too much on the second business, your first one starts to die. And then you start focusing on the third thing. Does that make sense? And then both of the business dies. It's like you try to run 3 businesses, right? Like entrepreneur. No, that's the wrong mindset. Sometimes in business, you focus on one thing until it makes you a certain amount of money, then you can branch out. It's called vertical scaling, vertical scaling. You focus on one business, which is Daygame, then you can work on mental trauma cure or something else, right? Something second or something third. I don't know what the third thing is. Maybe like fashion for whatever. But the thing is that you got to focus on one thing. I've been teaching since 2012. I only focused on one thing. I have nearly 700 laid and pull testimonials. Todd V has like 3. So it's a big difference. I started day gaming around 2001. September 11th was my first day of university. I went to art school. It was subsidized by the government. So I didn't have to pay I didn't have like student loan debt. The government paid over like 70,000 or something on my education, which is good for animation. So I went to university. But that's when I started approaching, because that was the first year, the lay guide. It's called Out Seduction Fast, or Fast Seduction. It was an NLP. It wasn't direct. It wasn't mystery method. Mystery was not there. I was there, and I was looking at the field reports and trying to imitate them for the system, indirect, in university. For 3 years, I did not even get a single fucking lay. There was no cell phone back then, so you had to write down the phone number on a piece of paper. You're like, what the fuck? And call them and set up a date. And there was no Asian dating coaches back then either. I went through hell for you guys, just to give you guys this. You guys are ungrateful. It's like Moses is like saying, Egypt, let my people go. Here's one Asian lay testimonial after another. Here's another miracle. And then people are like, yeah, great. We like to be slaves, right? We're just going to keep carrying this giant. No, don't be a slave. You are a free man. John Elite, Daygame, Moses will free you, my people, to the promised land of white pussy. Nah, we're just going to do this. We're going to listen to ABCs. We're going to give up. Nah, fuck it. And then, what the fuck? What the fuck? How many miracles do you need to see? Good thing I have 63 unreleased late and post testimonials. 63. So I can post at least like a lot. So might as well do that and just call you guys out at the end of every single one of them for not coaching with you. Asians should not give up. Asians, you need to double down on day game. Fuck night game. There's no mathematical formula that's going to make you win unless you want to go after Asian women. Good afternoon, Marco. So even Marco got like a girlfriend this year, right? So congratulations. Anyways, but the day game skills is the most important. And they transfer over everywhere else. You know, it's almost like if this is like spinning on a plate, right? Day game for Asians. Imagine there's a cup, right? You got to fill this first cup before it overflows to the second cup. And then overflows to the third cup. But if you stop filling this cup will start to disappear. And then you scroll at night game, you fill that up. It doesn't even reach the top. And you go to Tinder a little bit, and then this, that. You only have so much water, so much energy. Every time you do Tinder, it's an opportunity cost. If you're focusing on one thing, then you will not be able to focus on a second thing. Does that make sense? You focus on night game and you focus on Tinder, you cannot focus on day game. You focus on day game, then it's harder to focus on the other two. But for day game, even if you want to go night game, it's way easier. And if you do get a date from Tinder, which for me, my SMV is too low in Vancouver. I mean, I match up with pretty girls, and young too, and very attractive. But what the fuck? I mean, so they find me attractive. They don't find me sexy. Good. Fuck Tinder. So I'm just letting you know. And I know what you're probably thinking. Why bother stretching your social skills? Why work on emotional control, John? We're Asians. We don't need strong emotional control. We can compound lifts. We can fly over with third world money status advantage, with exotic advantage, with a high status job compared to Latin third world countries, with a high status lifestyle on our Instagram and swipe on Tinder. We can do that, John, instead of actually You have 4 extra points instead of 1 out of 10 for Asians. Does that make sense? They think they can do that instead, but that's the problem. Because they're doing that, um, because they're doing that, they can't do the other things. They can't do the other things. So you should work on social skills, social calibrations, and emotional control. But why work on these things and stretch your skills? Because when you look at the chart, looks is out of 10. I could write all out, but it takes a long time. I should print it out. Looks is out of 10. Money is out of 5. Status, your race is out of 10, but you can see Asians are status maxing, red pilling in a Latin country with ABC spending $7,000. That's very expensive. That's very unaffordable to a lot of Asians. Social skills is 2.5 points. Social calibration is 2.5 points. But that's already 5 fucking points. That's huge. Emotional control is 2.5 points, but it can be minus 2.5 if you start having cortisol in your voice. Don't you get it? Minus 2.5. So whatever advantage you got from it can be taken away. That's why they like to use Tinder, because they cannot hear the voice. Okay. My KFC's here, my Toonie Tuesday. But I'm going to spend more time with you guys. So let me just turn it off. Okay, my roommate's in. All right, just leave it on the table. I'll be eating that later on. My roommate always gets me KFC every single Tuesday, because they want me to eat more. I thought I'm getting a little chubby, but all I eat is like organic food, organic meat, just to save some money. Even Cow Wings have texted me today. Cow Wings give me a brand new code because I always buy from there. I noticed that while your last order, I put $20 aside for you. Guys spent before July 31st. Today's 28th. Okay, I'll buy another order. July 20th is the code. Take $20 off your order. Don't let it go to waste. Head over to Cow Wings. Fill your freezer and enjoy. Questions, feedback, or just want to say hi, I'll reply to this text. Yeah, okay, fine. You got me. $20 off. I always eat organic food from farms and locally, so I can save money. Eating from a farm is cheaper. That's why I go to KFC, because even though I get like drumsticks from a farm, I get 12 of them, and they're big too, and they're very strong, organic food. But KFC, I don't have to fucking cook it on Tuesdays. But anyways, why work on emotional control, right? Why not stick to Night Game and just Tinder? Because Night Game does not have social skills, because it's a loud nightclub. It's like, doof, doof, doof. Don't you get it, guys? It's so fucking loud, you can't really have social skills. You can't hear each other. It's so loud that you just have to scream in her ear. I like your style. And she's like, what the fuck you say? I said I like your style. And then she's like, what? And then I like your style is like, oh, you like my style. Thank you. And then, blah, blah, blah. It's like, so you can't do social skills. She's drunk, down the fuck, but you can't talk. So that's why Asians love it, because you don't have to have social skills. Emotional control. How can you have a conversation with each other with loud music and alcohol? There is no emotional control. So day game is not 20 out of 35. It's like physics, right? You get 20, you automatically get laid. Day game is more like 15 out of 35. You get 15 points, you get laid. That's why they like night game. But it used to work until the economy got worse. Then your emotions got worse, and you were not over that 15 out of 35 line. Tinder is 12 out of 35 because Asians can raise their status with Instagram in a third world country, showing that they're an engineer. They have exotic advantage being one race while she's like Latina and they're Asians. They also have high status job, engineer. I said that. High status lifestyle, third world money status advantage by traveling. If you show you can travel, then she thinks you have more money, survival value. And then their Asian SMV is 1 out of 10. So they got 5 points. Now they're operating at 5 points on Tinder. So if their looks is above like 5, right, they'll get laid. Or I mean above 7, right? Then they'll get laid. If they're not above 7, then just get one lay, right? They go through 900 matches automatically, right? Even my other Asian student got 75 lays, right? Without going to this ABC shit. He got 75 lays from Latin America. Come on now, it's super easy. And then it doesn't even count, right? They get 12 dates and one lay. Such low odds of success. But for Asians, because you listen to Game Global, this is your only option because you have given up spinning the plate for day game. Keep this thing going, spin until 1, 2, 3 lays. And the only way you think is impossible because you go direct because ABC says is more manly. But if you don't go direct, you use my system, Elite 30, with a hybrid opener. Getting those 3 lays is not that hard. You just have to show up for 30 days. Unteachable cases cannot do. When you show up for 30 days in a row, then you'll fucking get laid. It might take you 2 cycles of that. You did it for 60 days and you get laid. But you got your dick wet. And you got like a Latina or something, or someone who's good looking, or you got like a black chick, maybe your first one, or maybe half mixed, right? You got half Asian, half white. Good for you. You got some experience. Now go for your second plate. Keep spinning that plate. Now it takes you like almost like 2 months. You got your second lay. Next one took like less than 15 days because you have neural pathways. Now I got 3 lays. But now you got a white girl. John, I got my first white girl. She's okay looking, right? But you like her. She's okay looking. She's like at least like maybe 5 out of 10 for you. But you still like her. So after that, does that make sense? At the very least, you don't have my whole course. You don't have elite access. You don't have elite tonality mastery. But you have elite 30. You got to put in the work. You got to work it. And then you extract it. That's what my Asian student is doing. The ABC student rejoining is doing elite 30 again when he came back using elite access. Got to round out the edges because Asians are lacking social skills. Does that make sense? So spin the plate, get those 3 lays. When you can get those 3 lays, you can get 6 lays. You can get 9 lays. You just have to scale up whatever you're doing with Elite 30. Does that make sense for Asians? This is the only way that's still going to get you laid in North America. These ones have died in 2025. You can only pull women home like ABC students in Toronto. Oh, sure. Their course is comparable to the price of my Elite Bundle Resurrections for just night game for 2 days. You might think you're getting a good deal, but if you're not getting laid, you're getting played. Tinder, right? You get no more matches, then you give up because you think approaching is creepy. You turn MGTOW. All roads lead to MGTOW except for Daygame. This is your only solution. There's some guy online who swiped 1 million times on Tinder for one date who didn't even like him. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised when you have a bad economy and you got more modern women that are more narcissistic, then you get stuck. Tinder is not the way to go for Asian men. Asians, you don't have a high SMV in North America. That's why you want to leave to like Mexico or somewhere else. I get it. But this is not the only solution. But trust me, I'm going to show you a solid way for Asian men to start with day game. So get those first 3 lays, then branch out from there. Start with day game. Because even if you don't get laid for day game, your skills will skyrocket for social skills, social calibrations. And then when you go night game, it becomes easier. You still get laid from night game because you practice day game. It's like the day game is your wingman to getting you laid from night game. Does that make sense? And if you do get a match on Tinder, Asians, because you've done day game, you had a few dates, then you're able to close her faster for Tinder. Otherwise, you just lose all the leads. They don't lead to conversions. Day game, even if you suck at it, at least you should use it to improve your social skills. If that is the minimum, Asians, would that be okay? Of course, you still want to get laid from day game. But if you use it to supercharge the other two, make it spin the plates faster, then get Elite 30. It's that simple. Because a lot of other Asian men, both in Asia and North America, already stuck on Tinder and night game strategies. And guess what? It contributed to the birth rate decline. You think it's bad? You should see how Asian. You see, there's 48 million, I think, is it 48 million women, leftover women in China that are over like 40 years old or something, or 30 something, and they cannot even find a partner because they're too, like, I wouldn't say stuck up, but they're way too picky. And then their mothers tell them, like, if you don't pick somebody, then she's gonna say, "Oh, I deserve better." And then the guy who she thinks that she deserves in China, that guy's already like married to a 21-year-old woman. And then she says, "Well, I have academic success, like a feminist." But guys say, "We don't care about your academic success," because now she's saying, "I don't want a guy that's below me in terms of money." And the guy has to pay for the wedding, he has to pay the dowry, the bride price. You see that? In China, it's game over. Asian men, I can't even teach them there. Giant lifestyle already have them all like brainwashed. It's game over for China. RSD has brainwashed the entire China. Giant lifestyle has killed all of China. Their chances of getting laid, and he probably made a lot of money from that. Giant lifestyle has destroyed every Asian person's life for a day game because it doesn't work. Because RSD shit does not work. So you might have the wrong approach. And those expensive boot camps, they're only realistic for a small group of wealthy Asian engineers. That means the 13 people that joined ABCs of Attraction on their Tinder Latin America world tour swiping or going to a Latin country. Even if night game coaching were cheaper in Canada, they take away the day game option to lower the price. They lower the price. It's kind of like, okay, we're gonna sell drugs here, right? And then we're gonna lower the price, and then all the attention is gonna go over there, and then they got addicted to night game, and then they don't get laid, and then now they're stuck. ABCs is really unethical. They took away the clean option, which is not drugs, which is healthy foods over here. They took that away. They lowered the price. They price people out just to get Toronto students. They have taken away their future. Had ABCs of Attraction been able to get Asians laid from North America, I would shut the fuck up and say they're helping Asians, right, on the same side. But they're not doing that because they're tricksters. They talk from both sides of their mouth. They say one thing and they do the opposite. They're tricksters. So you still be limiting your skills if you skip day game completely. You end up spending a fortune week after week for the fees and alcohol, and then for like cover fees is expensive, and the alcohol. And then by the end of the month, right, in 1 year, you spend $7,000, the same as their Latin World Tour. If you went to night game and you went to Latin World Tour, that's $14,000 gone. There's no like cheap way. And that's the thing, it's about making money. It's not so much about helping you. And you'll be trapped in night clubs as your only option. You don't understand. If ABCs was good at what they do, like I am, I would praise them and say that I'll give them credit where it's due. But they can't get it done. Asians are not getting laid in Toronto. They only one guy who's decent looking pulled 3 women home. He never said he gotten laid with them. He's pulled 3 women home. That's it. Pulled. What does that mean? Dry pull. Who gives a fuck? You're supposed to get laid. So Asians are no longer getting laid in North America with ABCs of Attraction. So they only go to Latin America when they say on their YouTube short that Tinder does not work in like North America. Okay, if you're telling people that, that's really not good for Asian men. Had they been good, I will praise them. It's not because I'm a hater. There's nothing they do above me. My students get laid from day game. They get girlfriends from day game. They get married from day game. They procreate from day game. Way more impressive than night game. That used to work 2 years ago for their finals for night game too, before the tariff. I know whenever I say tariff, you guys don't actually understand what I'm saying. But I can tell you one thing. You are so stressed out by the tariff that you have so much cortisol. You may not understand it, but women can hear it in your voice. When you're stressed out by cortisol stress, your voice will sound different than 2 years ago. If you came here 2 years ago in a time machine and you went day game now, you will probably get some results because your voice will not change. The hormones can change your voice. It can make you more stressed out, talk faster, and stutter more. And it can show you less survival value. You can have a depressed sigh. You know, when you sigh, you're like, oh. At the end of every sentence, how are you doing? Oh. Always a sigh. Oh. And then when women gets turned off, they get dried up. They hear that. They're like, well, this guy's no money. They hear the depressed sigh. You do that in night game, depressed sigh, game over. You just hope the loud music and the alcohol can blind her from that sighing. Don't you understand that you're stuck because ABCs of attraction is making you stuck? This is the opportunity cost. You spin the plates. For night game, you spin this plate over and over, and you spin it on Tinder, and it doesn't work anymore during the tariff era, the stressful era. And you're like, oh, I don't understand. You do understand because you're in five-figure debt. You cannot hear what I'm saying. You're stressed out. You're losing your hair. You're getting double chinned. You're losing your muscle mass for some reason. You get very thin, but big belly. And then you can't remember anything. You're forgetful for no reason. You know what I'm talking about. Donald Trump's tariff, AI has taken over jobs because AI is good at automation. AI is not good at thinking, but AI is really, really good at automation. Any job that can be automated, repeated, AI will take over your fucking job. That's why Gen Z can't even find a fucking job. So I don't think I'll have many Gen Z students like recently. I got focused on millennials. Millennials are the ones getting laid. I used to have Gen Z students, but they have lost their memory because one Gen Z student, a Latino guy, he went to school, super ADHD, right? He lost his memory because he had an intern, AI company. They did not pay him for 1 year. And then he got so much cortisol, he got chubby, and he lost all his memory. He cannot even be coachable. I wish he can come back, but he's gone, mentally gone. But you spin like these plates. If it's not day game, right? And you try to spin these other plates. Do the cortisol, right? You don't have enough focus to actually get the plate up there to grab the stick and spin it in a circle. You can't spin both of them like that because you can't focus. So USA screwed us with the tariff. Yeah, but you said you were about to buy my course, Elite Bundle Resurrections, if it comes with all the other soundtrack, right? You didn't buy anything. So what the fuck? Join me. What the fuck? So who are you, TMX man? Are you my student that was from London that got like? Are you from London? I remember having a student with a similar name. That very good-looking K-pop guy that got like a white girl that's a model and got an Asian that's a model and a third fuck buddy that's just a white girl. Was that you? Are you from London? Are you that singer guy? Or are you somebody else? Just type in the chat. Are you that guy? And then when I told you to join my next course, so you're like, no, I know everything because you already gotten me so much results. No, it's not me. Okay, never mind. It's not you. But I thought it's a similar name. He has like T something X Man or something like that. It's not you, then it's somebody else. Yeah, Vietnamese guy that looks kind of K-pop. So I thought it was you, but it's not you. I'm still interested, but the economy has been bad. Sorry. Can you afford Elite 30 or something? Maybe like I can make you a deal. I can give you some of the soundtrack for Elite 30. You know, it's 350. You don't buy the whole thing. And then you buy Elite Tonality Mastery next. I'll give you the 2/3 of the soundtrack. And then if you want to get Elite access at the end, right? When you have some experience with the other two, how's that? I'll give you some of the soundtrack. I'll cut it into a 1/3. You get Elite 30 and start. Yeah, payment plan. Why not? We just split into three. I mean, if $950 was already on sale, but normally people pay $400 for each of them, right? If they buy it separately. But for you, I can do like a 350 summer deal. So 350 is not bad. It's very affordable. And I'll add for you personally, I'll upload the soundtrack on the Google, like the YouTube, and I will private the soundtrack that only you can hear it. As long as you don't steal it, you don't upload it anywhere, you play it on your own playlist, I can do that. I put a lot of good songs in the first one, right? Then the second, third one. And all future soundtracks will belong to you. Does it come with a handbook? Or you mean the Elite Playbook? No. Elite Playbook comes with the third piece of it, Elite Tonality Mastery. But if you want that to move to the second, right? You want the third piece to move to the second piece, I can do that. So Elite 30, Elite Tonality, Max 3 comes with Elite Playbook in 10, not 10 skies, but it comes with those two. Then I can move the Elite Access to the last one. If you don't want to directly train with me, I can move one in front so you guys can practice more of that, and then we can get more in the soundtrack. Yeah, that playbook. So that will be moved to the second one for you customized. It's usually the third payment for the most of the other people. Hope that makes sense. But usually you talk about it, but you don't take me up on the offer. Why are you guys not training with me? I'm posting like students getting many lays. Can you write in a comment for other people? I know you say the tariff for T and X-Men, right? How about other people? Where are you struggling with? Are you MedTel? Are you listening to Game Global? They don't have many like people viewing it. Or is it like you got turned off by a smear campaign against me? Like, what is turning you off? Is it me or is it not me? Is it like, did I insult mystery, insult white dating coaches, even though I'm sure they only have 1 or 3 lay testimonial with lots of infields? Did I turn you off? Cognitive dissonance? What is causing you not to train with me? And one student got 5 lays, the other guy has 3 lays. No, yeah. 5 lays, 2 lays, 2 lays. But regardless of that, it's opportunity cost. It's all about getting real results. So the first insight is that Asian men should try to get a minimum of 3 lays from Daygame before doing night game or Tinder. 3 minimum. Spin the plates up, do Elite 30. If you don't get laid the first time, you do Elite 30 from day 1 again to day 30. Second time, you probably get laid. Get 1 lay here. Now you spin the plate. Get a second lay, and third lay will be faster. Then once you have 3, you can probably get married. You have enough skills to find a wife or a girlfriend because you can do it again beyond 3. 3 is minimum, so you don't waste the energy on the other 2. So I think Asian men should just aim to get a few hookups, and then like 3 to be exact, minimum, before diving into the whole night game scene. So you're saying you can't start night game unless, look, if you start night game, right? Night game does not have social skills. It does not have emotional control, right? So if you start night game and you start with less because of loud music and alcohol, how are you supposed to do day game? Most people like ABCs and all the other coaches, whenever they're a night game coach, they cannot teach day game because day game requires more skills, social skills, and emotional control. You're actually climbing. This one, you're climbing down to night game. So you can't climb up this way as the Asian men. Your SMV is only 1 out of 10. Unless you're super fobby, then you're 0 out of 10. So the swiping on Tinder, you don't even get any matches on United States right now. White people are not getting matches. Women are just like getting burnt out. Once they reach 30 years old, women, older white women, they look older. Nobody's approaching them anymore. They're all MedTel for all the men out there. And they're upset on Tinder. They can't get the man they want, the high value man, because they're narcissistic women. Don't you see? It's all collapsing. The birth rate's collapsing. I'm not trying to use problem, agitate, solve. I'm only telling you guys the truth. I can give you the stats. I'm not like ABC's a problem, agitate, solve. I'm not here trying to manipulate you. I'm only telling the truth to wake you up. If I'm ever manipulating you, call me out. If I'm using problem, agitate, solve, I'm not. The whole night game scene is swiping on Tinder. You know, can you stop calling? You know, for ABCs, they need to stop calling like, oh, they had a romantic encounter. That's just a way of saying, oh, he touched her hand or he got a kiss close. It's all trickster language. It's a bit confusing for everyone that doesn't know what you think. And now here's the thing. A lot of those guys are dressing in what you might be calling whitewash husband material vibes, right? And that's what you need to focus on for my students. You need to be whitewashed. They're like, well, aren't we good enough, John? We're Asian. It's like there's so much Asian masculinity supremacy in there. It's just like other Indian coaches saying that you got to have Indian pride and fight back or some shit. That's not going to work. You need to assimilate so you can blend in with the white women. They're like, no, assimilation will not get you laid. Assimilation gets my students all laid. One Asian, 2 lays, another Indian, 2 lays, Toronto, and another guy, 5 lays. They all dress whitewash. So that's the thing. Husband material vibes. It's like they're really putting effort into looking the part, but they also need to hone in on their social skills. You need to understand social cues and mastering emotional control. This is why it's so crucial. Well, a lot of the advice out there, particularly ABCs of attraction, tends to zero in on Tinder, right? Especially in Latin countries, or they just night game scene in North America. This kind of approach can really box Asian men into a certain mindset. It's kind of like the mystery method, right? Mystery method, they'll box you in. It's always like open, attract, comfort, seduction, close, right? Open, attraction, building shit, lots of dates, comfort, seduction finally. They don't use seduction earlier on, and then go for a close. This fucking misery method is boxed in. You gotta think outside of the box, not inside the box. You're boxed in by thinking of mystery method. You're stuck with it. But here's the kicker. They often miss out on developing the social and emotional intelligence that you need. So when it comes to day game, they might not have the skills to pull it off. But instead, if you focus on day game, you spin this plate, get 3 lays, then you can spin the second plate and still focus on the first plate. If you try to spin like these 2 plates, Tinder and night game, they'll keep falling down over and over because they don't work. You burn yourself out. All your money will be gone, and you'll turn MGTOW. All roads lead to MGTOW except for day game for Asian men. You got 1 out of 10 perceived natural status. Do the math. Do the math. I'm not lying to you. Do the math. Unless you want to get Asian women, that's the only exception to the rule for night game with a big, bulky Ninja Turtle body, or you want to go on Tinder, it's a third world country where my Asian student already got 75 lays, which doesn't even count. Is that easy? It's not easy. You're paying for 1 lay, $7,000. You could get 75 if you just travel in Latin America by yourself without paying ABCs. They're the culprit. The second insight is that Asian men needs habits, not tactics, that will fix every area of your life. Asian men really need to focus on building habits instead of relying on quick tactics that promise to solve everything in their lives. You see, many of us grew up with tiger parents. In case you don't know what a tiger parent is, it's usually when we have very strict Asian parents. That makes us be very good at school. These are immigrants. The first generation of Chinese, usually, or Indians, we have tiger parents. That's what we have in common. The difference is that the Asian parents will move to North America. Indian parents will still be in India, and they'll say, oh, send money back home, beta. Beta means son. Right? Send money back home through remittantly. Does that make sense? So Indians, they get the claws into you, the tiger parents, or you got to marry, and we got an arranged marriage for you. Does that make sense? But they always tell you to no, don't mind the accent. I really have a lot of Indian students. They respect me. This is just how they talk. Nothing negative about it. But they do say that. Oh, beta, why you not send money back at home, right? You don't love your parents anymore? Or they'll be saying, oh, we have a girl. We picked out several of them for you. You got to arrange marriage, right? Don't you like her? Maybe her. You can choose from these 10, right? Oh, no, that's not the right option. It's when you have a backup plan, it's really not good. It's not good. So, Jay, sure, but night game demands a stronger code approach, escalation, and closing skills, especially fast. Okay, first of all, let me debunk that, JT. You're probably JT Trend, right? So, how can you talk in a social skills environment as you claim that because you do more social skills? The music is so loud out there in the night game, and they have alcohol. How could they have emotional control or social skills when they can barely hear over you? You have to yell very loud, or get close to her, or get her closer to you just to talk her in the ear. How much social skills can you really have? So that's a lie. Yes, you're escalating, but because you're not using social skills, you're using verbals, right? Or what you call conversational verbals. You have your own drills, right? Speaking of whatever, and then you say a bunch of stuff and then you end up something. And then you practice a drill, whatever you end up. Speaking of bubble tea, I really like that very much. I go to this different places all over Metro Town. Speaking of Metro Town, I also go to other places. And I also shop eating like fried chicken there. Speaking of fried, this is the ABC's drill. That's their social skills. That is not enough compared to the social skills flow drill. So JT, what you're teaching out there is around a loud music, and you trick the people from Toronto. Does that make sense? Thank you for support. You trick the people from Toronto. They get 3 polls, right, from one guy. He did not get laid because if he got laid, you would smear in everyone's face. They cannot hear each other. They're down to fuck with women, and you think you're having a huge volume. Yes, you're escalation. You're escalating, but you're talking about closing skills. But with the tariff affecting the tonality of your students' ABCs or JT trend, they can't, like, they're stressed out in their voice. That's why they are not closing. And your student Colin, JT, he closed in like what, Brazil, and he closed in like Peru, right? In Daygame. He's the only one that can do it for Daygame. Are you saying that they have enough social skills because of Night Game that only one good-looking guy that you call K-pop maxing, JT, is the only one that can get laid in before the tariff era in 2024? Then why doesn't it work in North America? That's why it requires skills. When the music's loud, you can rely. You need stronger nonverbal. Yeah, but like I'm saying, JT, Trent, what you don't understand is that you're talking about body language and skills. I know your system. You use a finger, you try to turn it around and say, I think you're fucking beautiful. You try to turn around, you call it kino. So you call it nonverbal communication, squaring off. My students don't square off and stand 45 degrees. They don't touch her in the shoulders. They don't go direct. That's why my system works. You see that? That's the problem with your mindset, JT. You're talking about nonverbal communication. So, JT, if looks is out of 10, right? Which your looks max, and you look better now, you're Ozempic, no offense. But then you have money, right? Looks, money, out of 5. Okay? Asians can be more like crazy rich Asians. Status is out of 10, right? Does that make sense? Looks is whatever, you're always looks maxing. Your status is whatever money. They're engineers, they have money. And their status is always 1 out of 10. A white guy will have 10 out of 10. You know that. They have more advantages than Asian. Indians will be 2 out of 10, unless they're whitewashed, or 4 out of 10. Asians will always be 1 out of 10 or 0 out of 10 that are fobby. You call it K-pop maxing. And then this is the 4 things, JT, you don't understand. Social skills, which you say is not as necessary, and then it's harder, even though like it requires more skills when music's loud. Okay, social skills. Okay, so that's disabled, right? Social calibrations. That's the nonverbal communications that you're talking about. Okay, but your stuff is not transferable to day game, JT. And also emotional control. Because of the tariff, they're minus 2.5 right now. And you cannot have emotional control when there's loud music and the women are drunk. You cannot build social comfort as easily. Your closing skills is only maneuvering her back at home. Your ABCs, right? Attract, be in the moment, C's for like compliance, D's for direct intent, E is for like evaluate, F is for friends or future. I get you have a mystery method structure. In the past, your students could pull women back home out of the club, and then they can escalate afterwards when they build C, which is connection, compliance, and comfort. Before you build some attraction building, using a little bit of game, right? So you were focusing more on body language and game. Does that make sense, JT? With your students, you only focus on those 2, but you're missing the social skills, emotional control. But now, because of the tariff, the minus 2.5 points for emotional control has taken away your game. That's why you bring your students over to Latin America, JT, to go and swipe on Tinder for $7,000. You made $93,000, but you live in California, so you pay a lot of taxes, almost half. Crazy. So you have way more students. When you come to Toronto, you teach the Toronto students the same thing. Emotional control, which you don't have. You only taught them like body language, social calibrations, and then game tactics, right? Mystery method. Open, attract, comfort, seduction, and close. But they don't close anymore. You know that. If they close, you'll tell everyone that they got laid. So you're only focusing on those 2. And it doesn't transfer to day game, so it becomes an afterthought. I'm not saying that you have a deep emotional conversational environment. Loud music and on top of it can actually make that harder anyways. And no, it makes it easier because you don't need social skills and social calibrations. If you look at the threshold for day game, You calculate all the points. If my students, they do drills and exercises, like you do drills and exercises for turning them and then saying, hi, I think you're fucking beautiful, right? And then you do all this other stuff. You do all that stuff. You do some drills. Okay, but my students have a different set of drills. They have Elite 30 from hard case to hero. You don't understand it. But what you're trying to say is that you can have a deep, I'm not saying you can't have a deep kind of environment, but loud music, it does not make it harder. It makes it easier. You know why? Because Night Game and Tinder have down to fuck women, JT. They go to those environments because they're down to fuck. They want to have sex. For Daygame, they don't want to have sex. This is a social environment. There's not a down to fuck environment. Because it's a down to fuck environment, it makes it easier. The women that go there, for most of them, wants to have sex. Or even hang around with their friends that do want to have sex. Tinder too. They're down to fuck. It's a hookup app. So you're basically basing everything on having less skills because Daygame is 20 out of 35, JT. Night Game's only 15 out of 35 because you don't need to have that threshold. That's why you cannot get students laid in North America for Daygame because your threshold, your game is leveled at 15 out of 35. But when you go to 20 out of 35, like my students, I nearly have 700 laid in testimonials. You just have good reviews. I have 700 laid in testimonials. Your one's not all lays in posts. And this is Night Game. And it's not even working this year for the tariff. That proves my point. A Toronto guy got 3 posts, 0 lays. And then your people that get laid are going to Latin America and they're swiping on Tinder. In the third world country. 900 matches, 12 dates, 1 lay. JT. Therefore, this debunks your whole idea. The 15 out of 35 versus 20 out of 35, Daygame makes more sense to work on Daygame, JT, than to work on Night Game and Tinder now. Maybe in 2024 and 2023, 2022, you might have a good point. You have students laid from Night Game. I applaud you for that. But North America in 2025, 2026, that is gone. Now it's back to the Tinder environment. You're just taking money from Toronto people, and they should focus on Daygame, but your students cannot get laid from Daygame. Your other instructor, Daniel Hung, told one of my students that was a former student of yours who got 0 lays. He got 10 lays Night Game after Elite 30, social calibration, social skills. And then he got 2 more lays of 2 white girls, which is deemed impossible to you guys in the United States. He told Daniel Hung, your other instructor, told my student that Daygame is impossible. Nobody's doing it. Why are you doing Daygame? Are you crazy? Go to Instagram. I don't know what Instagram means. You should be using Instagram or something. What does he mean, JT? Why is he teaching what's Instagram game? I don't even know. That's what he said to my student. But JT, you also told this student that if he writes a good review for you on Trustpilot or on whatever, Google or whatever, you'll give him a free course, like a free online course. That's cheating. My students either get laid or they pull women home. They don't give me reviews. There's a lot of trickster stuff in there. And whenever they don't even get laid, right? JT, they actually they just give a good review. And you call it romantic, they got a romantic connection or something like that. When they just touch a woman's hand or a kiss close. If they pull, they say the student pulled. When they get laid, you rub it in everyone's face. They got laid here. He got 3 lays. He got this lay. Got this lay. He got this lay. Sure, but you need to turn and opener to set up the interaction and close and create results anyway. So I don't understand your point. Well, in Daygame, right? I don't actually touch them in the shoulders. I'll walk past her. I'll look back for 2 seconds to get her attention. I'll turn my body 45 degrees, not squaring off, which is different than you. I'll use a hybrid opener, indirect, transition to a adaptive opener so it seems more natural. You look like X plus Y or you Z. And I use statements of empathy. I know this is very random, and I'll call it the elephant in the room. If I'm Asian looking, hey, I'm born here, but people don't talk to each other anymore. I disarm her fear, JT. See that? It's like a weapon disarm. Indirect, right? Control the weapon, transition, adaptive opener, statements of empathy, strike, and then disarm at the very end. It disarms her fear. See, that's a very different thing. Because if you try to use the same night game stuff, you're 15 out of 35 leveling, you're stuck at that level. You try to bring out a day game, you do too much physical touching, and you say you're fucking beautiful. Your students will not get any results. So they quit day game and it becomes an afterthought. So you don't teach it for Toronto. You collect a 1,500 from them. Of course, you have to open. My students, if they can get laid in 1 to 6 approaches, when they level up Elite 30, the 30-day challenge, then why would they need night game? Of course, you need to open to close. But at the same time, I'm just saying, you're only operating for a 15 out of 35. But now there's minus 2.5 because of the tariff. That's why your students, if the economy gets better, your students will get hard in school because that's what we might end up a bit socially awkward. But I mean, let's just be real. If all you heard was hit the books, you might miss out on the picking up of the natural social skills, the ones that are not in the nightclub. So the kind of skills that helps you read the body language and manage your You know what, JT? You have the students I want, right? To get late for day game. You have the Asians, right? I can get them late. Our mission is very simple. Okay. If you're part ABC's attraction, and that's you, JT. We're both here to get Asian people laid, married, and procreating, right? We're both that's our mission. I don't know. I'm not saying we joined forces, JT, but we have the same mission, don't we? I'm just saying, I'm just thinking, I'm planting a seed here. If Johnny Lee can get people late from day game, and I'm the only one that can do it for Asians in the whole world right now for Game Global, you can still get them late from Tinder and maybe some night game, hopefully, when you make some corrections. I could tweak some of that whitewash tonality so you can fit in the white tribe and get more white girls. I'm not saying we should join forces, but I'm saying that we both have a solution, but we're here to help the same people. But you cannot do day game. You don't have understanding it, guys, stuck in the mystery method. JT. Bro, night game only gets you girls who are like in clubs, day game gets or mostly Asian men gets like Asian girls now. If they're getting white girls, right? They don't just pull 3 times and nothing happens. Unless you're like, dirty bulking and stuff. That's very popular because Squatting Casanova from Game Global is like, you gotta compound lift and build your body and compound Ninja Turtle look. That actually could be hurting Asian men. You're looking bulky as shit. My students are not bulky, they dress whitewash. They fit in their tribe, JT. That's a lot easier. I hope that makes sense. So it's like you're trying to fit in, right? But something always feels off. That's incongruence. If you're not whitewashed, it really takes a toll on both of your social life and dating life. And what you don't understand, JT, is that because you think it's K-pop wash, right? I remember many years ago, I told you that K-pop maxing or whatever, now you're doing it, it's ridiculous. But you think it's K-pop maxing because of 12 out of 35 Tinder in Latin America for your company. So it does not transfer to night game or day game. Because this is what they create xenophobia, JT. When you're part of the out tribe, just like Indians, when they dress very foreign, they're part of the out tribe. When they're whitewashed, they get laid, like my students. The same with Asians. Because you're doubling down on being K-pop maxing, who are like probably closer to 28 years old now, because you think BTS, right? But the only reason why that it works in Latin America is because of the 4 traits of status maxing, JT. The high status job, they're engineers. They make more money than the entire like population of Latin America for the people outside drug dealers. They have a better lifestyle on their Instagram. That's what you've been doing. And then they have a thorough money status advantage. If they travel to multiple Latin countries, you show them on Instagram, then you boost 3 points. And then you got the exotic advantage because they're Asian, they're all Latinas, you got 4 points. Now, because they have 1 point for being Asian, they got 5 points. That's what you've been doing. And then you've been looks maxing them to be above 7 out of 10 with fashion. But you made it wrong in conclusion that it was K-pop maxing. In reality, it's not K-pop maxing. And you accepted $7,000 for each of them. Dude, one of my Chinese students who's married, he never got late for day game before. He got 15 lays, 5 white girls, 5 models, 2 actresses. He married one of the actresses. He's a father. He was in Latin America with 75 lays. He was traveling from country to country. He went to all of them. Although it's dangerous, right? He had a will. If he died or something, the money would go to his family. He was status maxing. He was a millionaire too. So, I mean, obviously, you're probably a millionaire too. So, multimillionaire, but you got high taxes. But he got 75 lays, but you promised one lay for $7,000. Doesn't make sense. Your stuff works for Tinder in third world countries, night game, not able to show proof. You're giving yourself a pound and pat, JT, for no reason at all. Yet here's a solution over here. JT, I will post one Asian lay testimonial after another in the United States, even places where you live. How about the next lay testimonial, Asian? If I get another Indian lay, we'll post that. We'll post 2 more Asians afterwards. If we get another Indian, we'll post 2 more Asians. I'll keep stacking Asians to make my point that they can get laid over here. A lot of stuff you've never seen before. Brand new, unreleased. I've been saving them for a rainy day. If I'm the only one who can get people laid for day game, and day game is 20 out of 35, and night game is 15 out of 35, down the fuck. Maybe I know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm just smarter than you. You're a NASA scientist, JT. But I'm smarter than you. All right, let's continue. So what's the big deal here? Well, developing these habits isn't just about getting better with people at work. It's also going to boost your dating game, especially in day game. And why some folks from ABC's Attraction struggle to connect in day game, they're using Asperger's mystery method strategies and techniques. You see, there's a lot of dating coaches that are former engineers. Asperger's. I'm not saying that they're Asperger's, but it's very likely. You got Todd V, you got tall self-proclaimed high layground coach. Justin Wayne style, like Asperger's. Then you got like JT's, rocket science, squatting Casanova, biotech engineer. You got all these engineers that are former engineers, Todd V engineer, always the mystery method stuff. That's why they're stuck with escalation, game techniques, a little bit of body language, not social skills, not emotional control, or whitewash fashion. Always game, escalation game. They're stuck in this paradigm. Because they're stuck in this paradigm, they never get ahead. See, that's the problem. They're stuck in the mystery method box, the RSD mass approaching. And yeah, I mean, your system for night game, I can improve it. You know, for emotional control, that's where I'll fix JT. Because you have to be aware that your student's voice in Toronto, because they're so affected by the recession there, the liberal recession, as you're poaching the students from there, and they're not coming to me because of you, their voices are affected. Maybe you should look into that. I don't mind if you get more Asians laid. You're not competing directly against me for day game. Nobody can beat me. Not all of your game global, JT. Nobody can beat me. I'm unstoppable. I'm like John Wick. I'm an anomaly. I'm the top dog. But if you're still helping Asians out there, you better be helping the Asians for night game, or I will be more critical. You understand that? If you don't get them late this year, I will be like twice as critical because you're not helping them. You're taking their money. That's what I'm saying. But those 2 things don't always transfer over a day game for night game or Tinder. You end up feeling stuck. Like the only option is night game or hopping over to playing Latin America. It doesn't have to be that way. And the third insight is that learning day game and becoming proficient at it is a downward effect towards night game and Tinder. You should focus on day game before you learn the other styles. You can see with JT, we have very different styles. JT likes to do like physical in the beginning, squaring off, direct compliment, building attraction, right? Be the moment, banter, which is a building attraction mystery method. C, comfort, compliance. D, direct intent, disqualify. E, see, I know your system, JT. E, evaluate. F, friends of future. It's a mystery method. But the techniques, that is for 15 out of 35, which doesn't work anymore in the North America because of emotional control. The 20 out of 35, day game. It's not enough points for day game. So if you start with here, used to work. If ABC's of Attraction stuff still work for night game for North America, I would recommend people go to take it. But this year is not working. Last year, it's getting finicky because of the tariff. The emotional control, the cortisol is affecting them. I have no problems recommending ABCs for night game if it's working. I'm not like petty. If it's helping my fellow Asians, that's all I care about. But for day game, I'm king. Nobody can beat me. I'm just not well known, but nobody can beat me. I'm nearly 700 laid in testimonials. They get laid fast. Everyone gets laid on their own time. Easy cases, fucking 3 days to like 2 weeks. Like normal cases, 3 weeks to 3 months. Hard cases, 6 months or more. Impossible cases, 9 months to a year. Unteachable cases, never. But they can jump one spot with my mindset playlist. They have a protocol that helps their mindset improve. But I would start with day game because you have a different set of skills. This is what the naturals do. They have social skills. They're born with it. They have emotional control. They all talk differently. They all talk whitewash. They all stand 45. Not a single natural that I know in real life. They either walk with the women or they stand like 45 or they're off angle. None of them squares off. My Pakistani mentor, the best day gamer I know, he doesn't even square off. Nobody squares off. Because when you square off, you put a lot of pressure on her. That's fine for night game when you have a down the fuck drunk environment. But for day game, it doesn't make any sense. Everything that white dating coaches with infields teach you. Squaring off, eye contact, direct compliments, collecting flaky phone numbers, setting up dates. None of it works. That's mystery method. We already went over Coach Kyle's testimonials. None. Bradicus 1, Coach Kyle 3, James Tuss 3. Mystery method. Same structure for London day game. Doesn't work for Asians anymore. It's all related to the economy. So if JT, you can fix something about their tonality for the emotional control, you might get more students late. I'm okay with that. I don't consider you a competition in my field. Day game, there's nobody can beat me. I'm John Wick. Bring them all on. Just knock them all down. But if you have to get Asians late. If you don't this year, right, by end of this year, I'll be so critical next year. So you better do whatever is in your power, JT. You make sure that North American Asians are getting laid. They're not coming to me. You got brainwashed by you. You make sure they're getting laid. Otherwise, I'll be a little bit angry because I will feel like that's unfair to them because your techniques and your tools are only for a 15 out of 35 night game. I have a different set of tools for day game. Completely different set of tools. So as I was saying, the third insight is that mastering day game first. Seriously, if you get really good at day game, it makes night game and Tinder much easier because closing on the dates, because they're down to fuck for night game and Tinder. It'll make it easier. My other ABCs of attraction student, we can play his testimonial if you want. He got 10 lays from night game. He didn't get a single lay from ABCs for night game until he took Elite 30. Social calibration, social skills. Then he got 2 white girls. He came back to my training. It's kind of like laying a solid foundation before building the house. When you nail a day game, you're boosting your social skills. Social calibrations, right? They talk about social calibrations for nonverbal communications. That's true. But I also have my own set of 30 skills for social calibrations, the 45-degree body language. It won't work for your night game, but it'll work for my day game. Because day game does not have down to fucking, it's not a high pressurized environment where you got to use social skills to get her talking about. It's a different paradigm. It's really hard for engineers to understand what I'm talking about because they're socially impaired. So escalation in game makes more sense for night game. And nonverbal communications. I get it. But if you're improving your social skills, social calibrations, and you're developing your emotional control tonality to be more whitewashed, and Asians do not sound whitewashed. Whenever you hear ABCs of attraction student on their infields for day game, you don't see them like since years ago. They'll be like, hey, I thought you were kind of cute. They sound so narcissistic. Oh, wow, cool. Yeah, I'm so overconfident. It's like a narcissistic personality disorder. It goes nowhere. Look at Jeff Kahn's fucking infield, indirect. They got some Asian Filipina home. Nothing happened. Sucks. Then you got that Daniel Hung. Nothing happens. He pulls a woman home. He's an instructor for day game. Despite all his looks, he doesn't actually have any skills. He told my other ABC student that day game's impossible. Why are you not using Instagram? Are you crazy? Nobody uses day game anymore. You're the only one. And you have this big alumni, this forum group of brainwashing. And they always come back to you. You know, it's like cognitive dissonance. It's like Stockholm syndrome. They don't get laid for day game. Only the good-looking people that get some lays. And your Sebastian student, that guy can't even fucking do day game. Your instructor that was gone afterwards, he can't even fucking get a student lay from day game ever. If he lived to be a billion, he has good looks though. He's tall. He can only do it in fucking Brazil with this social circle game circle jerk that you taught, standing next to women with optics. That's all they have. Fucking scammer. Who does he think he is? Anyways, that's a if you learn social skills, social calibrations, emotional control first, right? The only game that you need is maneuver, sexualize it to the maximum, and deal with sexual objections, and flirt in between when she talks more. But you got to maneuver her back home, same day lays. That's all you need. All this other stuff, this push pull, self amusement, all this other shit is all mental masturbation. It's all bullshit. So that's the thing. Start with day game. Night game becomes easier because the music's blaring. It's tough to even hear yourself over the crowd. Plus, you're dealing with drunk people. But if you have the right body language, you can get her out of the club very easily. You still build attraction. You have the whitewash tonality. Even though you can say very few words, it makes it easier. You can get her out of the club easier. Then you can maneuver her back home. Then you can sexualize it to the maximum and deal with sexual objections. You can flirt when she talks more outside. But you can't do that inside because it's too fucking loud and too fucking drunk. Then you have your emotional control. Because night gamers, when they do day game, they have way too much energy. They walk in there and they pretend it's a nightclub, they mass approach, and then they escalate so hard. It's like they don't understand. She can't digest that stuff when she's not down to fuck and go into a nightclub or go on a Tinder date. So day game demands a bit more finesse. And you got to work on your social skills. You got to keep your tonality in check for your whitewash tonality. And you got to be like emotional control. Not just emotional impact, right? And you got to connect emotionally. So if you get these things down, they'll eventually become second nature. That's why I have a 30-day challenge. It's not just a boot camp on the weekends for 2 days or something like ABCs or 3 days. And then you just practice some drills a little bit and some theory. This is like ongoing for 30 days minimum. And stepping into night game won't feel like such a huge leap. You get laid super fast. This is super important because you spread yourself too thin when you juggle all three of these styles on the plate over here. See that? Here's a stick and here's a plate. You juggle all three of them. You only have enough energy for one at a time. The opportunity cost is that you waste too much energy on Tinder. On Tinder and night game. In night game, mostly you get Asian women with big bulky body because ABCs cannot get their students laid anymore. Or you go Latin America for Latinas. Where's the white girls? It's all on day game. You like white pussy. Day game is where it's at for Asian. This is how you do it. Focus in here, then you can move on to here after 3 lays. You have enough skills, you can spin 2 plates and not drop them both. And just focus on night game and Tinder afterwards if you want to, but always focus back on day game. You can use day game to boost your night game and your Tinder, or else you'll end up the jack of all trades and master of none. I mean, let's not criticize ABCs too much. Yes, I started day game in 2001, but back then, ABCs was one of the first Asian companies for dating out there. We need to give credit where it's due. I'm not saying they're good. I'm not saying their stuff will work, but I'm objective. You see that? This is not about competition. This is not about being unfair. They have gotten some people late from night game before. Not anymore, but before. I don't care about night game. I get them late from day game. I got more day game lays for their students than their night game. But they still got a few students late from night game. Right? They tried to help the Asians, but they got misguided. And then they couldn't get it working, and they just take the money. That's what I disagree with. When there's a better solution over here. I just wish your students could learn day game over here, and then you do night game over there. Just give me whatever students you have. I'll give you a percentage of the profit, the ones you did not get laid. How's that? For every elite bundle resurrection they take, HAT, I'll give you maybe 25% of it. Work as a joint venture. Because we're both helping the Asian men. You give me all the students there. I get most of them laid. I can probably get close to If they do everything I say, 70%, 30% will not get laid. They're probably too much SMV or they have too much inner game issues caused by you. I get 70% of them laid. 30% I will not get them laid. And I send you the money that I make from it. I don't charge that much like you because it's not about business, it's about mission. But we both have the same mission to help Asians procreate. How's that? Joint venture. Think about it. And the masters, don't be a jack of all trades, master of none. That's how a lot of Asian men get stuck. They end up only doing night game down to fuck women in North America. And then the emotional control is affected by tariff. Then they hop onto Latin America just for Tinder. And then they never develop the social skills. They're like, we don't want to learn social skills, Flojo, John. Stupid. We don't want to take 3 weeks to learn it. It's not fun. I got better things to do. Why can't we do it on day one? Why can't we just bulk up or fly to Latin America? Why does it have to take time? But my students are the only ones getting laid compared to all of Game Global. I'm the only one getting students laid for day game over and over. They're not. So really, starting with day game first could set Asian men up for more success in the long run. I get it. You're probably thinking, well, why not just stick night game, right? In your North America, it's all about dirty bulking and putting on some muscles and compound lifts and getting Asian women. Rock those black shirts, right? And then when you go home and everything, the women can see you, right? You're like Snorlax. The idea here is to stand out with a big Shrek-like presence. But hey, why not just hop on the plane to Latin America if it's easier, right? Because they're not giving Asians a chance in North America anymore. They're getting more resistance during the tariff. But not every Asian guy can drop $7,000 for ABC's Attraction Latin World Tour. And don't forget, remember, if you can get them late, JT, I will praise you. If you get late for night game, I will be the first to praise you. Just to let you know that. You have until the end of the year to get Asians late and show me that you can get them late for night game. Okay? I'm giving you a lot of time here. Half a year. You have to get them late. If you don't get them late, I will be very vocal about it at December until the next year. You got 6 months. You better figure this shit out. You can't just take their money. They will not hear this conversation, JT. And you still have to cover your hotel and flights. And when you add Airbnb and meals, you're looking at almost $9,000. Night game expenses. Oh, shit. I calculate. Night games are around $8,000 per year. Cover fees, Airbnb, gas, drinks, about 8,000. It's not cheap. Tinder is about 7,000 something. The dates cost money. People can't even afford to date anymore. In Vancouver, only 10% people in a relationship because Vancouver, Hong Kong, and New York, right? These are the most expensive places for median income in the world. If there's only 10% in the relationship, they cannot even afford to go on a date. So what would drinks and coverage charge, all that stuff? So I revamped the Elite Bundle Resurrections. You can buy it in 3 parts instead of like buying everything up front. I made changes to the first 30 days. If you're Asian or something, you have to do the 30-day challenge. You're no longer skipping to the Krav Maga, right? The martial art aspect of it, which is just social skills, social calibrations, emotional control and game. That's the cut down version, the hand-to-hand. You got to go through basic training of the army now. You got to learn how to shoot the rifle. You got to do the 30-day challenge. Then you go to the Krav Maga. Then you go back to the other ones and mix them together. We're changing this curriculum for this year. Asians, you have no choice. Every Asian has to go through the 30-day challenge for the first 30 days. Do it in front of the mirror, do your own drills, not night game drills, day game drills, and then go out there and approach, and no procrastination in between. And you need to transform into a pickup artist by going out there. You got to spend those initial 30 days practicing in front of the mirror, then you leave 30 and go out there. It doesn't matter if you practice for 1 minute or 5 hours. The goal is to get you comfortable as a pickup artist. And think of this like stepping into a new MMA gym. Of course, no one wants to get punched in the fucking face when you're Asian, right? Oh, it's so hard. I want to learn my fucking social skills. Every day, there's so much work. It hurts. Okay, no, but I'll make it easy. We just focus on getting you out there and getting you practicing in the mirror. 30 days. Okay? We'll make it easy. How about 14 days? You can have a break for a couple of days. And then the next 14 days, you do the last 30 days. Make it easier for you, Asians. If you go to the gym and you get a personal trainer, but you didn't go to the gym before, it fucking hurts. Right? Forget about those half-hearted approaches. Let's make it easier or complicate mystery method nonsense that no longer works. As you can see, it doesn't work for ABCs. It's about learning how to show up without stressing yourself out. Then in the second month, you switch to elite access and you dive into the Krav Maga drills. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to treat this like the IDF. IDF is a small army that has to survive. Does that make sense? I'm reading one of their books right now. It's really cool. So I'm reading a martial art book on Kindle. Right here. See it. Inside the Israeli Army. That's the name of the book. And I learned a lot. Actually, my system is almost exactly identical. I know you guys may not like the Israeli Army, but they have to adapt. They're the fastest adapters, or they get wiped out very quickly. After October the 7th or something like that, they have to adapt everything. Their systems are no longer working. They change. They always change. And they don't have time to build up a soldier for 10 years. They got like 1 year to do it, basic training. They're half the time of people. And special forces in 2 years, when they're like 19 years old or 20, they're already in special forces. And the best people, they always filter out all the zombies. They're exactly like my system. So we got to treat the same way as the IDF. We're going to have basic training for the first month. For all the hard cases, for all the impossible cases, unteachable cases will be expelled. And then this is how we're going to train them. If you're already good, then you can jump right into the Krav Maga, social skills flow drill, social calibrations for nonverbal communications, emotional control, and then game, right? And then you can go back. We'll drill that more. But unless you're more intermediate. But for everybody else, they're going to be doing a lot of these drills, right? For Elite 30. We're going to get back to foundations because the other one, because if you procrastinate during a tariff, you might push off your results. So we might as well sacrifice the first month to make it easier, just to show up. I'm changing the training. I could be a tough coach, but if I correct you too soon, right? You might get too stressed out and you run away and you quit. The world's like on fire right now. Iran war, tariff, everything's fucked. Game Global, nobody's getting students late. UMP, right? Using mystery method shit. We're sexualizing. They quit to a night game company. So if you're not familiar with pickup, you might just throw in the towel. That's why I prefer working with folks who have approached before. And I had some success for the students. You're not starting from scratch. A Vietnamese student, 5'7", already got 2 lays in the United States. A Canadian Indian guy got 2 lays. He's gonna get ready for his third one. And then I'm gonna Skype with him in like tomorrow, after tomorrow. And then another Indian guy got 5 lays. These are not easy. These are Indians and Asians. I'm the best day game coach in the world out there. And it's not just like some white guy that says they're the best and then they only go after Asian women or something. I have nothing against white people. I respect white people. I have nothing but respect. I'm related to white people. My aunt's white. But you got these coaches, they say, oh, this student got like 6 lays or something in 6 weeks or something. And then it's the same story I heard for the last 5 years. It's probably like a relative or something. And then they just say the same thing to confirm. It's the same fucking thing 5 years ago. It's like bullshit. It's like, don't be brainwashed, guys. Because they don't have late testimonials anymore. If they had it, they'll show it. They just don't have it. They have rhetoric. They have brainwashing. I'm the best day game coach out there. Name one that's better. You can't, because you look at any white dating coach, Evolution Daily, you only have 3 students late after like a couple years. Then they just took all their money. I have 692 late info testimonials. More than every day game coach in the world combined. More than every Asian Lee, right, from Game Global. They promote him for day game. Asian, AISEN, LI, Asian Lee. Now has quit and teaches Tinder. He's no more day game. He couldn't even get students late for day game. He just scammer. UMP, switch night game. Asian Lee, switch to Tinder. Don't you see a pattern here? ABCs, switch to Tinder. This year, we're rolling out the show. Show up for the Elite 30-day techniques. And you learn that first month. You do the drills. You make your approaches. And then you record a WhatsApp video of all your mistakes. You play that over and over. You watch it 20 times before going out there. Every single approach, you're going to hear all your mistakes. And before you do any drills at home in front of the mirror, you're going to listen to that 20 times. Then that becomes your external brain, because with cortisol, it wipes out your memory, it wipes out your hairline, it makes you double chinned, and it makes you have no muscle mass. And then you capture your infield. I analyze it. We do the drills and the homework, and you go back out there. So even if it's out memory compression or adaptation, you really need those pieces in place. I crafted a new external brain for you. And since a lot of my students' memories can get wiped out by the stress of today's economy, if you click the link in the description, which I'm going to put, get Elite 30 from Hard Cases Hero. Then get Elite Access next. Then get Elite Tonality Mastery with Elite Playbook and 10 Skypes before the price goes up. And here's the thing. I think the reason why it's so important, do not pay for the whole thing at once. Most people bought Elite 30 first. And if you're a bad student, you're an unteachable case, then you don't get to take Elite Access. It's that simple. But if you graduate, then you can take the next ones. Save your money. You don't want to spend so much like ABCs. Start with $350. Even if you don't get late for day game, you're Asian right away. You can do it a second time, right? 30-day challenge. Third time, you'll get late. But then you might get too late from night game because day game overpowers night game. And Tinder becomes easier. Even Elite 30 can boost the other two. That's all I got to say. Thank you for being here. I'll be back as soon as possible. I know I have not been here for a while. As soon as this gets like 90-something views or something like that, I'll be here again. We're behind schedule. Johnny Lee out, world's best day game coach. I'm not joking. When I say I'm the world's best day game coach, it has like impact. When I say I'm the world's best day, give a thumbs up. When I say I'm the world's best day game coach, there's no shakiness in my voice. I'm the world's best day game coach. There's none. But when other people say they shake, they're like, oh, I'm the worst. They hesitate because they know it's not true. Because they know Johnny Lee exists. I'll beat the fuck out of all you game global people in terms of teaching day game over and over. All the Indian coaches, all the Asian coaches, all the white coaches. I'll beat you like a Cherokee drum over and over. Every year after year, I'll urinate on your foreheads year after year. Smear campaign or not, John Wick or Johnny Lee does not fall down that easily. He gets back up and he keeps going. It tears through the competition, metaphorically speaking. Johnny Lee out.